Yo, what's up, y'all? It's the MMA Analyst doing my review for UFC 92 The Ultimate. Um, again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year coming up to everybody. Hope your holidays have been real nice. Getting the presents, that you need and you want or whatnot. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you're getting gifts or something. Let this not just be a holiday. Get a watch or a shirt or something. UFC 92 The Ultimate. It was a pretty good card. I couldn't do this last night, man. I'm still kind of like, it was a good card. Damn, my throat, man. Oh, man. It was a good card, but just something about it, man. It just, oh, I'm never going to get over it. Let's start right from the top. Forrest Griffin versus Rashad Evans. What happened here basically is Rashad Evans did his thing. He kept the counterpunch going. He engaged first a lot of times. His boxing, people gotta. Maybe now that he's champion, people will stop possibly hating on dude's boxing and his hand speed. But this guy is fast. He's got real good hands, real good defense. The way he parries the punches, he doesn't really, run away when they punch. He just kind of slips it a little, parries down, and the guy's boxing is on point, at least for MMA, and he's got that power. Basically, he lost the first two rounds. Rashad Evans is not a round winner. If Rashad Evans wins a round, it's probably the round that he won the fight in, because for the most part he's a counter puncher who kind of like gauges his distance, and then after a certain period of time it gets closer and closer, and now it's at the point where come that second, third round, depending on on how he's a champion in the light heavyweight division, come that maybe fourth, fifth round, if you've made it there, he knows how to hit you at this point, and you better watch out. On the other hand, you have Forrest Griffin, who I don't understand. He's training with Extreme Couture. He's got a solid camp. From what I hear, he's like the hardest workingest dude. I know that's not proper English, but I'm saying it again. The hardest workingest dude, according to his camp. Like, he trains more than everybody else. If that's the case, then he's got serious issues with his genetics, because he has no cardio. First round, they didn't do any clinching, which a lot of times is, what takes out the most energy from you would be clinch work and, being on your back on the ground. They didn't do that. They threw some hooks and some jabs and some crosses and some uppercuts and some kicks. For a professional fighter, that shouldn't really take out that much energy from you, especially if it's 5 minutes of it, and the first minute of it is just gauging distance. But come the second round, as Josh started to open up a little bit, he started to be a little flat-footed. His kicks weren't coming at the right angles. His punches weren't really landing. And I said, at that point, I'm like, okay, third round, that's it. If Rashad Evans is still on his, handling his business, Forrest Griffin's going to be dead tired by the third. If he somehow makes it to the third, he's going to be dead man walking in the fourth. And exactly what happened. Third round, Rashad Evans caught a lazy kick, through that straight cross, took him down, and I think he hurt him with that straight cross, and that's it, basically. Rashad Evans, light heavyweight champion of the UFC. This is some crazy stuff. The UFC says he's 18-0-1. He's not. I think he's 13-0-1. But regardless, he's undefeated, and he became a champion. I think that's the first time there's been an undefeated champion in the UFC. He's continuously improved his game. He went from a straight wrestler to a very good wrestler with really good hands. He's fast, he's explosive, he's an all-around athlete, and he's going to be a tough competitor for anybody that faces him. To be completely honest, for the problem that I will call Machida, not a problem like a bad problem, but more like a puzzle. Rashad Evans is kind of like the guy that I would say could possibly be the one to solve that problem. However, if Rashad Evans is the champion, they're not going to fight because Machida's never going to get a title shot. Ever. Like I said before Machida gets a title shot. Oh, who's that? Get out of here. Before Machida gets a title shot, he'll get cut by Dana White. Mark my words. Mark them. Or with a marker. What's next for Rashad Evans? He's going to be the champion, and he's going to fight Quentin Rampage Jackson in what Rampage is sure to say will be black-on-black crime. And what's next for Forrest Griffin? I don't know. I hope the proper type of cardio work. He's supposedly, not supposedly. We know he's got big heart, and we know that he's just he's a fighter, and he likes, he just loves to fight and he loves to train. So, with all that said, a better cardio regimen or whatever it is, because he needs it. I say Forrest Griffin. Who should Forrest Griffin fight? Oh, I don't know. Man, get out of here, man. This is serious. It's MMA. It's important. Man. Forrest Griffin, I think, I don't know who he should fight, to be honest. Let's do a rematch. If Shogun comes back and handles his business against Coleman, please, he should. But if he handles his business against Coleman with a completely dominating fashion, and you know how the UFC likes their rematches, make it happen. Forrest Griffin, Shogun, the rematch. You know the UFC loves the rematches. It was a good fight. I didn't really see who got fight of the night. I would imagine that was the fight of the night. Congratulations, Rashad Evans. Okay, now, the only, oh my gosh, my most disappointing time in this entire year was Mir versus Nogueira. First of all, congratulations to Frank Mir. I thought his hands weren't going to be... I don't know when he became such a good boxer. He was just, he was tagging Nogueira all day. He dropped him with two left straights. He got him with the uppercut. He was just bombing on dude. It was absolutely, first of all, unexpected for myself. Second of all, impressive. And, Nogueira was knocked down twice in the first round, knocked down in the second round. Second time he got knocked down, he wasn't allowed to get back up. Herb Dean, man. Herb Dean. Come on, man. He's not a first... I mean, I would have... Look, if this was a first-time, guy who never been a referee, didn't know who Nogueira was, didn't see Fedor bounce his head off the ground like 15 times on Pride, didn't see the Heath Herring kick, if he had never seen any of these fights, then I would say, oh, maybe he doesn't know. But dude knows, just like I know, just like y'all know. Nogueira gets hurt. That's what he does. He gets hurt. He gets hurt and then he wins. That's what happens. What changed this fight? Nothing, except for the winning part. He got hurt twice in the first. He recovered both times. He walked to his corner. He got hurt in the second round. Fell to the ground. And Mir jumps on him. As he's coming in, Nogueira's reaching from the side, trying to grab. He's not out cold. His feet aren't pointed forward. His arms aren't up like this and slowly releasing. He's awake. He's foggy as hell. He is damn near out, but he is awake, and he's actually reaching for his assailant, I guess you want to call it. And he reaches for him, and he tries to pull him in, and he's blocking a few punches. Mir throws about 8 punches, but one lands. And it's the one that lands as Herb Dean is breaking up the fight. So, essentially, if he hadn't landed that last punch, Herb Dean would have stopped the fight with 0 landed punches on the ground. Now, I know Nogueira got up wobbly, but that's what, when you get hit, you're wobbly, period. You know what I mean? But that's not what would have happened. By the time Herb Dean jumped in, Nogueira was in had him in spider guard. He had both feet in front. He wasn't in side control. He didn't mount him. Whatever, man. I'm not gonna say that Nogueira wasn't getting his ass beat, because he was for a round and a half. He was getting dominated and bombed on, and just an amazing performance by Frank Mir. I'm not going to say that Frank Mir didn't earn this victory, and that the stoppage wasn't even, maybe 5 seconds away from completely being warranted and nobody complaining about it. But, I mean, if it's Nogueira, you got to give him a chance. You can't jump in like he's some beginner or like you're some beginner. What's up next? Frank Mir's fighting Brock Lesnar for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the UFC. And Mir looked real good. We'll talk about that fight in the future. What's up for Nogueira? I don't know, man. Just don't make him fight Gonzaga. I know Gonzaga's supposed to be fighting Shane Carwin, so Carwin's got a tough road ahead of him. I don't want him fighting any wrestlers, I don't want him fighting any guys in jiu-jitsu. I don't know, man. You know what? If Congo wants to get a title shot, that's who he needs to beat. I mean, because beating who he's beaten will not get you a title shot. He can beat the guys he's beat all day long. He's never going to get a title shot until he beats somebody who's got some serious skills. Nogueira versus Czech Congo. Make it happen. Okay. Up next. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can see what would have happened last night if I would have done the video. Like last night. Y'all know what it would have been. It would have been out of control. Alright. Next up. And I'm not sure why it was next up, but I was amazed. They put the Rampage Vanderlei Silva fight on second. And then after that they had CB Dollaway versus Mike Macenzio. I mean, it didn't bother me. I got to see it earlier, but I couldn't really understand it. CB Dollaway versus Mike Macenzio. Mike Macenzio came up with his leg hurt. CB Dollaway really just came out, took control. Took him to the ground. Actually, Dollaway got hurt. Right off the bat, actually. He didn't really take him to the ground. He got hurt. And then his wrestling instinct kicked in. He went for the takedown because it was either he's going to get took down. He was either going to take him down or get took out. And he ended up getting put in a pretty deep guillotine choke. He escaped the guillotine choke. And then from then, it was all CB Dollaway. He avoided some submissions. I'm surprised that he put himself in that situation so many times. The best defense from getting submitted is to not get put in those submissions, not to escape the submissions. So maybe he felt he could give up some arms and then use it to pass the guard or whatever. Who knows? That's what he did, and that's really what happened. He handled his business. He took his back, and then Macenzio, even Dollaway was confused. As soon as he took his back, he just covered up his head and just laid there. And then was upset that the fight was stopped. Intelligently defending yourself. That's the problem I had with Nogueira's stoppage. He was intelligently defending himself. But Macenzio, he just was if you could see from the front, look like he might have been just sitting on the beach. Meanwhile, I don't know. That was not a good look. Macenzio, you needed to not do that. It's a tough lesson to learn. I would have sworn somebody would have tried to teach you that in the past. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? Now you know. No one's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Let's move on. CB Dollaway, what's he going to do? I don't know, man. Just give him another fight. Mike Macenzio is probably going to get cut. Maybe he won't. Who knows? I don't know, man. Mike Tyson? I don't know, man. What? Praise be to Allah. Anyways. Vanderlei Silva versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. This was a big fight for both guys. Vanderlei Silva, he needed a win. He needed a win bad. His career You know, like he was in the crossroads. He's been in the crossroads every fight since he's come to the UFC. You know, he lost to Crow Cop by brutal head kick. Then he lost to Dan Henderson by spinning back fist, which led into the nasty left hook. Then he lost to Chuck Liddell in a three round battle. Then he beat Keith Jardine, and now Rampage did the damn thing. If you know what I mean, Rampage is back. Like he said, that's what I'm trying to do, my Rampage impersonation, you know what I mean? So, yeah. He's in the crossroads, and I think what's up next for Vanderlei Silva, Dana White pretty much probably has written off Vanderlei Silva. He knows he's a moneymaker, but he also knows, like, who knows, you know, this guy's probably on his way to brain damage or something. Not that he would care, not to be unfair, but I'm sure he... Anyways, one more big fight. One more Vanderlei Silva big fight, I would imagine. Whenever his contract's up also, maybe at that point they'll want to like give him considerably less amount of money. I don't know really what's going to happen with Vanderlei Silva. I could imagine that they would want a Vanderlei Silva Chuck Liddell rematch. You know, Chuck Liddell's coming off of a knockout loss to the current UFC light heavyweight champion. Vanderlei Silva is coming off left hook loss. No, sorry. Things loss was to a right hook, but coming off to a left hook knockout loss to possibly the future and the once reigning light heavyweight champion. So, you know, you put these two guys together the same way you put Vanderlei Silva and Chuck together the first time, coming off losses, needing a win. In that situation, I would imagine Vanderlei Silva will lose that again. Vanderlei Silva just, I mean, he was a dominating guy back in the day, but his style and his hunchback has just not been what he's needed. Like, when you are like, where's your distance? Might have looks funny or whatever, but that's what he's doing out there. He's literally, you know, he's not throwing jabs. He's not throwing long straights. He's just throwing these short hooks now. He's not kneeing anymore. He's not barely kicking anymore. Vanderlei Silva, I don't know what happened to him. The dude, when he was killing people, was not doing it the way he's fighting now. He was fighting with, like, a brain. Maybe Crow Cop straight kicked it out of his head. I don't know, but he used to fight like a Muay Thai practitioner who was, you know, well versed in MMA. Now he just fights like a dumb brawler. He doesn't fight smart at all. He's fighting Quentin Rampage Jackson. You know, he throws minimal kicks, which in the past, you know, was a problem for him. He's not aggressive enough when it comes to getting to that clinch. I mean, the dude really, I don't know what's going on with Vanderlei. It's too bad or something, I'm not sure, but it is what it is. Quentin Rampage Jackson's going to get a title shot. Rampage versus Forrest Griffin. I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm going to say it in the first all-black title fight in the UFC. All black. You know, Rampage is all black. And Rashad is just as black. That's all black. You know, might as well just bring it up. You know, Obama did it, and now the UFC did. I don't know. Changes here. Who knows? Look, it's going to be a good fight. We'll talk about that later. I don't even want to give any hints as to what I think about it. It was a good fight. Rampage Jackson got his swagger back. He got Vanderlei Silva back. And he's still, I know he's still howling. I know, like, it was an hour and a half later. I was like, Rampage Jackson is not watching any of these fights. He's not watching the main event. He's not watching Nogueira. He's not doing any of that. He is out just howling and partying and hanging out with his people, and that's it. He's not even worried about the other stuff. He's like, I'll watch that tomorrow on YouTube or something, or maybe Dana will send me the video, but I guarantee you could not find Quentin Rampage Jackson watching that fight anywhere. He was just partying. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he did. Congratulations. And then the last fight on the main card, Czech Congo versus Mustafa Al-Turk. Look, man, there's not many people I'll say that I was a hater of. I don't like Machida's style, but I'm definitely not a hater. But Czech Congo was definitely a guy where I was a Czech Congo hater. Not because really, he's all that bad, but because his ground game was horrible. He'd been in the UFC for like 2 years and hadn't improved it at all. And he was an extremely cocky, extremely annoying guy, it seemed. Back up, man. MMA, it's important. Man. These dudes. Alright. Anyways. Alright. So Czech Congo now, though, he comes out there, he shows great takedown defense. He showed perfect takedown defense. Strong guy, obviously working on stuff. It's helped out his game immensely, and now, he's out, handling his business, getting these wins that he needs, and then when he went to the ground, there was no like pitter patter stuff. Mustafa Al-Turk's face went from normal to abnormal, extremely abnormal in seconds, in literally seconds. So that was a good job right there. And then after the fight, I was sure he was going to be like, I don't care. I want my belt. Give me the belt. I thought he was going to do some stupid stuff like that. He didn't. He went out, he said a whole bunch of real cool guy, respectful guy stuff. And I'm a convert. I don't think he's a champion. I'm not his biggest fan, but I am absolutely no longer. You can find the Czech Congo haters list. I'm off that. I put my haterade bottle away. Czech Congo is okay in my books. I'm sure he doesn't care, but I'm just letting the world know. Mustafa Al-Turk, what's he going to do? Facial reconstructive surgery. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Al-Turk can fight, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I always say Eddie Sanchez whenever there's like a guy out there. You know what? Mustafa Al-Turk versus my man on the undercard, who I'm going to talk about right now, Patrick Berry. Ooh. Let's jump right to that. Pat Berry versus Dan Evanson. Pat Berry came out and said, this is how K1 elite strikers kick, and he busted this leg. Dan Evanson is not walking. No longer. He's done. He mangled his leg with only like 5 kicks. He was like, bow, and then 3 more bows, and that was it. Evanson just walked away and was like, F that. If he could, like, he just said F it and just sat down and was like, get me out of here. And that's what's going to happen. He's getting cut, but it doesn't matter anyways because there's no one-legged fighters in the UFC. So, see you later, Dan Evanson. Patrick Berry, if you can work on that ground game, I mean, your takedown defense looked pretty good. If you can work on the ground game and look, just be better than Congo on the ground, man, I want to see that Congo Pat Berry fight. And Congo's a big, strong guy. Pat Berry's got big legs, but he's not nearly as tall, not nearly as long. But his kicks are vicious. He's got that K1 elite striking ability to him. I'm going to say that he's probably, and I'm only saying probably just because you leave room for error, but I do believe that he is the best striker in the UFC right now. And I'm thinking about Anderson Silva. Maybe a tie. Alright. Rio Chonin versus Brad Blackburn. I'm just going to run through these for those who don't know. Brad Blackburn won the fight. He lost Only one round, which is the third. He won 29-28. Brad Blackburn. What's up for Rio Chonin? I'm not sure. He's kind of like a gatekeeper type guy. He's never going to be the champion. He's always going to beat guys that are half decent. And then he's sometimes going to lose to guys he shouldn't lose to. And then sometimes he's going to beat like the best guy in the world. He's just not consistent at all. But I don't think he's going anywhere. Matt Hamill versus Reese Andy. We saw this. Reese Andy, get him out of the UFC. No disrespect. Peace out. Dude didn't want to fight anymore. Like, why wasn't Steve Mazzagatti the referee for the Nogueira fight? Because I know he wouldn't have stopped the fight when it got stopped. Because he let Reese Andy take an ass whooping. Matt Hamill, you know, he had a pretty nice jab, but sometimes he would confuse his jab with pushing a guy away with his left hand. A jab comes out, it comes back in. He'd just be like, stay, I don't know. And so, you know, his striking is alright. He already outstruck Bisping, you know, a year and a half ago or something like that, maybe even 2 years ago. Yeah, he admitted, he said, I'm sorry, my first round was kind of garbage. Yes, it was. It very much was. But second round, he did his thing. Reese Andy, sorry, man. You know, you tried to box with the dude. Your boxing's not good. Then you tried to take him down, and that was pretty much the end of the fight. Because then you just opened yourself up for ass whoopings galore. And that's what happened, trying to take down a better wrestler. Reese Andy, you know, see you on the undercard of a smaller event. That's that. Matt Hamill, what are we going to do with Matt? I don't know, man. I really don't know. He's another kind of guy where he's like, his cardio is so not good. I don't want to say it's bad. I just want to say that it's not good. And against anybody of any kind of real skill, he has serious trouble holding on past round 2. We saw it against Rich Franklin, and you'll see it again. Whenever he fights guys that can push the pace. If somebody pushes the pace against Matt Hamill will lose. If Matt Hamill pushes the pace, Matt Hamill will win. That's just the way it is. So, you know, Matt Hamill's got a lot of future in MMA. He's got a lot of future in the UFC. But he's got to take care of that cardio. He absolutely has to. Anthony Hardonk, I thought he was going to get the submission of the night. I didn't know what was going on here when he, you know, he got the underhook and then he took his back. I'm like, what? Anthony Hardonk's going to get a submission? I don't know why he wants to do that high guard all the time and opening his guard to go for sloppy arm bars and stuff. I don't know about all that. But he had a half-decent performance against a less than half-decent opponent, Mike Wessel. It was nice seeing you in the UFC. Got to go. We don't, you know, if they won't let Ben Rothwell, who is like a top 12 heavyweight in the world, fight just because he's got a little bit more of a gut than you, then you got to bounce. Out. Anthony Hardonk, you know, there's a lot of good quote-unquote striker matches. Maybe like Anthony Hardonk versus Pat Barry or whatever. It would be it's a pretty good situation with UFC strikers in the heavyweight division. Alright, and last but not least, exactly what anybody who knew anything thought. Yushin Okami by decision. As simple as that. Yushin Okami does not finish fights for the most part. He won this by decision. He's kind of like the middleweight Yushin Okami. I mean, he is the middleweight Yushin Okami. He's kind of like the middleweight Lyoto Machida. Dude, is Dana White, I don't think he wants to give him a title shot. He's supposed to get a title shot before, and then he injured himself. Yushin Okami deserves a title shot. This fight was absolutely not necessary at all. Maybe he just wanted to get a check. He got the check. He was not impressive. He needs to get his title shot against Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, I'm sure, wants to beat him down for what happened in the past. You know, with the upkick situation and disqualification and whatnot. Anderson Silva has said that he didn't believe that Yushin Okami was actually hurt, and he kind of thought that he was, you know, maybe playing it up a little bit. I'm using my own words, but it's a fight that should happen. These guys are both in the UFC. These guys are at the top of the UFC in their division. Yo, make that happen. But overall, crazy night of fights. We've got Mir versus Lesnar, the repeat, the rematch. I'll talk about that later. We've got Rashad Evans versus Rampage Jackson. Again, is what is sure to be some black on black crime. And then we've got some nice up and coming guys. Pat Barry, he will be back in the UFC within the next 4 months. I guarantee you that. You know, he came out here, real cocky guy, real powerful guy, real nice strikes. He'll be out there. Chet Congo, he's gonna fight somebody, a top 10 guy in the next fight. He has to, and I'm sure he will. And he'll try and get his title shot against whoever is up there. It was a real good card. End of the year, the Ultimate. It probably was their best card of the year. I enjoyed it. Herb Dean, come on, dude. MMA, y'all. It's important. Peace.